Boys love anime. These days, it's more scarce than an affordable housing market. However, 2023 has already given us 2 BL movies with another movie and OVA on the way. And while there's no BL TV series with a concrete release date in sight and even more announced adaptations in limbo from before the world froze over, there is one more impending release slated for this year that's a little bit unconventional and a lot of bit homophobic. Shin Yaranai Ka is an OVA project scheduled to release this fall that is an air quotes adaptation of Junichi Yamakawa's meme-worthy erotic manga from the 1980s, Kuso Miso Technique. Kuso Miso Technique is a story about a boy named Misaki, close but no, who has to pee, but on the way to finding a bathroom comes across a hot mechanic named Abe who utters the iconic line, Yaranai Ka, and then fun things occur. It's worth noting that this anime adaptation will not only apparently feature elements from Yamakawa's other works as well as building on the original Kuso Miso Technique story, but it will be, from my understanding, the very first animated adaptation of a Geikomi manga, more commonly known to English speakers as the outdated and contextually offensive term bara. Now, while this is all very groundbreaking on paper, the original Kuso Miso Technique is an erotic manga. It has segs! And not just any segs, it has words and implied off-panel. Now, while I have no issue with that, in fact, I found it kinda hot, and an OVA format is very much a common outlet for bringing to life this kind of glorious expression of human attraction, it's worth noting that bizarrely this anime adaptation is marketed as being for all ages. Not in the sense of they're gonna show the kiddies but in the sense of there's probably not gonna be any segs. Yes, you heard that right, a porno manga getting an anime adaptation without the porn. Not only does this offend my dick, it's generally offensive to gay men because the removal of gay sex is what? Homophobic. As much as the Puritans, as I call them, love to adamantly claim that a distancing of sex from fictional queer men in relationships through false flag like witch hunt words like fetishizing is somehow for the betterment of queer people, segs is an integral part of most queer men's queer experience, both in real life and in fiction. Particularly, it's an integral component of Geikomi, and its erasure is an erasure of a core theme within said manga that is very specifically desired by those who create it and the audience intended to consume it. Thus, its removal in this adaptation will be diminishing a goofy gay porn story that at least was intended for gay audiences into yet another story where gay identity is dumbed down into being a comedic punchline for the straights, all for the sake of animating a fucking meme. While the project apparently has the green light approval of the copyright owners of Kuso Miso Technique, that doesn't mean it has the approval of Kuso Miso Technique's mangaka Junichi Yamakawa, because apparently the man is off the grid and has been for about 30 years. According to the editor-in-chief of Barazoku, the magazine that published Yamakawa's works in the 80s, the man would show up, submit, collect, and dip. No real name, no contact info, no address. Geikomi work sounds like working for the mafia. Suddenly, The Godfather takes on spicy new meaning, which then answers the question of who exactly profits off of this Puritan Kickstarter shit show, and it sure isn't the gay man who brought this story to life in the first place. Now again, desire, context, society. I can understand Yamakawa not wanting the spotlight on himself as a queer man in a queer intolerant Japanese society. For all we know, he could have been closeted or even married to a woman with kids, and this was his secret creative outlet for his repressed self-expression. All speculation, of course, but I would feel better about this sexless flash animation GoFundMe shitpost if we got at least a handwritten creator's note of approval, like we did for Shoot Gold to the Future. Also, I wish this at least looked like Shoot Gold to the Future, but more on that later. Maybe we'll get some sort of message or note from the mangaka eventually. Maybe part of this project is finding out where in the world is Junichi Yamakawa. But possibility doesn't work for inciting rage through clickbait. But possibility doesn't mean probability, and if the man remained off the grid during the meme-fueled resurgence of his works in the early 2000s that saw new merch being made, I deeply desire that body pillow, I don't see why he would suddenly come out of hiding and potentially the closet this time around. Even less likely since there's a strong possibility he could also be dead. Now back to the segs. Have I mentioned I love segs? Segs with you is like... I would be annoyed but understand if this was a TV anime adaptation or even if it was a theatrical release, especially if either of those things were produced by a major production company. Cause you know, homophobic society, social stigma, cowardice. But this is a crowd-funded passion project by some indie anime director who likes a 20-year-old meme from some almost 40-year-old gay porn manga so much that not only is he begging for money to animate it, he also apparently made a live-action parody of it a decade ago where he played Abe, and he'll be voicing Abe this time around as well. The format of this adaptation is OVA, which stands for Original Video Animation, also sometimes ordered as OAV. OVA are anime series, specials, or films specifically released only for home media with no televised release or restrictions, which is why OVA are the holy land of hentai. Both I No Kusabi adaptations are OVA, Yatachin is an OVA, Six Lovers is unfortunately an OVA, Bible Black is an OVA, Hajimete no Hito. So logistically, between release type and the fact it's essentially strictly a fan production, there should be zero restrictions preventing this specific anime project from animating two guys fucking in a bathroom with some added debris. And yet still, this unrestricted adaptation decided to cut out what makes up 14 pages of the 16-page original story. And one of those two remaining pages is the cover. So despite the segslessness, at least they'll both be hot, right? Wrong. If this is what they were gonna go with, why didn't they just animate it with Minecraft? Especially because Minecraft is where all the platonic ships thrive, apparently. Unfortunately, the madman who's putting this mess together has a track record of exceptionally low quality production since 2018, just adding insult to horny injury. If this was truly an adaptation for the people, they could have set up a Kickstarter with someone freelance but capable. But no hotties with bodies, no original creator, no segs, no rights for the gays. All because they chose to put all the focus on the meme and not enough focus on the men. It's laughs over love, ridiculousness over representation, parody over penis! So it looks like the first alleged Geikomi adaptation is a disaster. The only saving grace is that alleged bonus disc that will be given to certain donation tiers. Maybe it's a secret segs disc, but if it looks like this, I don't know if we need or want it. This shit makes Stonewall and Riot look like Into the Spider-Verse. What a terrible way to end Pride. But if you want more 2D gay segs in your life, make sure to watch any of my visual novel playthroughs. Cabin segs, capitalist segs, scary segs, furry segs. Just become a patron of mine like my newest patrons, Los Hippopotamus, Ellie Bex, Liz the Dragon Master, Josh Johnson, Dan and Rish Spoer. Will you be pirating Shin Yaranai Ka when it releases? Are you a fan of Yamakawa's works like I am, and if so, which one? Now that's going to be my last video for the month of Pride. I'll see y'all in the next one. Shout out to everyone who's bi!